kartiavelino. I haven't been dancing. I have some rituals that I do on this channel, and sometimes I don't remember that I have rituals. Yes, even there. Anyway, I wouldn't go there. That I'm gonna save it for the next time. So today I have a very highly requested video, not from 1 or 2 or 3 people. This is one of the videos that I did about 3 years ago, I believe, or 2 years ago, where I talked about the things you have to know before you marry an African man. So now the other version, they want me to talk about the things that non-African men needs to know before they dive into marrying an African woman. And when I talk about African women, as long as the woman has an African parent, things that we expect. So those are the things that I'm going to run down to you guys. Yeah, so the first thing you need to know before you marry an African princess, every woman in Africa is considered an African princess, because in Africa we have culture and we have traditions. So one of the key things that you need to consider is that a girl you want to marry that is from Africa expects a traditional marriage. Traditional marriage, meaning that we wear something like this, our African culture. You must have seen some of those things, our African outfit designs, African weddings on social media. Most Africans, it doesn't matter how poor you are, they would like you to maybe curtail that, make it in a very small version, but most African women love African wedding, African tradition. We call it traditional marriage. The one that you see people walking down the aisle in white garments, white outfit for the bride is considered British or Obodo Yibo wedding. But before anything, the traditional one has to happen before doing the one that happens in the church. So that's number one. Second thing you need to consider is that when you marry an African woman, you're not only married to her. You're married to her only when you guys talk about bills, when you guys are making babies or sleeping together. Yes, she is your wife. But when you marry her, you marry the entire community. So expect that extended family, cousins, uncles, third cousins, fifth cousins will communicate with your wife. I don't mean like showing up, because these days people don't even show up to people's houses without making phone calls. So expect that there are other people that you have to. So expect that the family is big, the family is large. She has to maintain most in Africa tradition, when you marry the wife, you marry the entire village. So you're married to the mom, you married to the sisters, you married to the cousins, you married to the uncles, you married to the to everybody that come from that clan. They might not necessarily come to your house, you know what I mean? But she, as the African princess, as I would like to refer, will also, you know what I mean? Sometimes she would like to share some stories. Oh, she's my cousin, we grew up together, my uncle, let's go visit my uncle. So that extended family is what you have to expect when you marry an African princess. It's not, when marrying an African princess, it's not me. You are not only married to her. So expect that sometimes phone calls will wake her up in the middle of the night, telling her stories or telling her to contribute money financially to extended family. This is the things. An uncle might wake up one morning or call or send a message and say, Nne, can you please help us financially? It is expected in African culture that if you have, you give. So not necessarily that I'm not saying that every family is like that, but expect that to happen once in a while. The third one you have to expect is that if you marry her as the first daughter, as Ada means first daughter. Ada comes with a lot of obligations. and responsibilities, especially looking after her own parents. You cannot in any way, shape, or form take that away from an African princess. She has to take care of her aging parents. She has to take care of her aging parents. Siblings are secondary, but taking care of her aging parents, sick parents, you have to expect that. So make sure you are mentally and physically ready when you want to step into an African family to marry one of their daughters. You have to expect that she cannot run away from that. Her parents comes first, and then when you guys get married, you come first. But parents, they don't play with their parents, especially their mothers. They don't play with their mommies. Mommy, they have to make sure that mommy gets everything she needs, including sending her money monthly, every month, if you can afford it. Even if you cannot afford to give mother all the money in the world, the little snippet, she knows that she has to take care of her mother and father. And especially if the African princess that you're marrying has younger siblings and she happens to be the first one, it is her responsibility. Yes, forget about we live in this part of the world and we can give excuses because we have emulated some of the things that the people in the Western world are doing. As long as she has a job, she's okay, comfortable, she can help raise her younger siblings by paying their school fees and making sure that they are okay. I'm not saying that you have to, those women, I'm not saying that the Ada has to go out of her way to do what is going on right now, especially in Nigeria, selling their bodies because they want to raise their own little siblings. I am talking about the marriage perspective, not from the single perspective. I hope that I am making myself clear when I'm talking. The next one is funeral. Funeral, when the Ada's mom or dad or anybody, when the princess, yes, I like to use the word princess. When the princess mom or daddy dies, expect her to do more financially when it comes to, because yes, we have to face the fact our parents our parents didn't leave any money for their funerals. It is we that takes care of their funeral when they die. If you live in this part of the world, you don't have the money, you can go and swipe your credit card and bury your parents. It is an obligation, especially from an African princess. She has to bury her mother. If she has to go to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, get money from her credit card, she has to bury her parents, her mom and her father. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And I am talking from the core. I'm not talking from if your father, as the princess, is one of the richest men out there. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about according to how Ada is, how we, the Africans, takes the Ada, the daughter, Mwibo. She has to bury her parents. I'm not also, point of correction, doesn't mean that she has to go and lavishly do some funeral. No, what I'm saying is that she will contribute financially to the funeral or burial of her parents. The next one you must know, must know before you marry an African princess. I talked about that in the beginning. I don't know which country you live in, but sometimes your wife, siblings, sisters, brothers will come and live with you. So don't expect that you want to marry an African princess and it's only you and her. Depends on where she stands in the family. If she's one of the ones that God has blessed richly, financially, the siblings can move into that home with you people, especially when their own parents are deceased. So expect that to happen. Another thing you have to expect from an African princess, because of the way we are raised, make sure good food. Good food. She will make you nice, delicious food. An African woman, most African women don't believe in ordering food in the restaurant. Once in a while, you guys can eat outside. But the African women that I know don't eat out a lot. They might eat out because it's somebody's birthday, your birthday, but they don't indulge in eating out most of the time. Like the people in this part of the world, most of them, they buy coffee in the morning, they buy sandwich in the afternoon, they buy salad in the night when they are coming home. No, African women will make sure that there is food in the house. And most African women and I'm talking about most African women that are raised well from back home. Not the ones. So I'm talking about most African women that are raised with the core values of family. If their mother teach them how to make food, make sure that, you know what, she will take care of your stomach. Food is always at home. Another one is that African women, core African women, don't believe in marriage of 50-50. African women, that's not how we are raised. We don't know anything until I come to this part of the world to realize that there is something called 50-50, where the wife pays something and the husband pays something. No, we don't have 50-50 back home. Even if the wife has to do something, it's going to be like the small things like buying okra, buying some grocery, making sure that the laundry is done. And you know, I'm not saying that a wife should send her husband to the grave and let the husband pay everything. No, you guys know I am not a fan of 50-50. Wife has to do a little bit, but the husband takes the vast majority of taking care of the children, paying the bills, including taking care of the wife. Yes, so any man that is coming to marry you as an African, just even when you guys are dating, remind him that in Africa, how, my lovely husband, I love you, we are married, we're going to get married soon, but we don't do 50-50. I wasn't raised with 50-50. Even if you make the more money, you can still pick up the more bills and pay, but no 50-50. We don't do 50-50. It's like when you get to a corporation and you're selling shares. You cannot sell shares for 50-50. Somebody has to have an upper hand. And again, this is the core tradition of African. We don't have 50-50. If you are experiencing 50-50, it is the things that the people learn in this part of the world. 50-50, it's not for us. And expect sometimes expect African princess to tell you that she wants more children. Most African people, they don't believe in having one kid, one child, as we see in this part of the world. But again, I know why people here have few children, so that they are able to raise the kids that God has given them. So they'll be able to raise the children they have. The smaller, the minute, 2 or 3, so that you can at least handle them. Most African women want to have 4, want to have 5, so those are the things you have to expect from African women. But dialogue, talk about all these things before he puts the ring on that finger. So guys, if you're not, I didn't mention that if you marry an African princess that her mother lives in Africa and perhaps you guys live here, when you guys have a child, expect the mother-in-law to come and spend a minimum of 3 months to help take care of the baby. It is called inengo. ino mugo in my own language. Mother-in-laws, especially the first child, right? They want to come. The first grandchild they're so proud that that they become the grandparents. So expect them to come into your household and stay for at least minimum of 3 months to help your wife with the baby. It is tradition and it's still going on and on and on and on. So you have to know that. So don't come home and say, oh, what's his mother-in-law doing? Or you ask your wife, when is your mother gonna go home? Expect that and have that discussion with your wife. Okay, wife, tell your husband, I know you're not African, but when I have my children, my mother is expected to come and spend some time with us. So it is expected. You're not African and you're looking into marrying an African woman. I hope that these few tips will help you organize yourself to know how you can do your steps into marrying an African princess. Thank you guys and consider subscribing. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.